Hello, hello, hello. I am your host, OCL, and welcome back to One Century Later. Today, we'll be taking a look at all events from May 30th to June 5th, 1926. As with last week, all of my sources are in the description down below. Sunday, May 30th, 1926. Nothing of historical precedent happened on this day. Monday, May 31st, 1926. Following the new Lebanon constitution, Augusta Adib Pacha took office as the first prime minister of Lebanon. Also on this day, the Polish Sejm elected Marshal Józef Pilsudski as president of the Republic of Poland after the success of his May 12th coup. Pilsudski refused to accept the position because of its limited powers. Also on this day, South Africa's first national park, the Kruger National Park, was established. The resignation of Portuguese President Bernardino Machado took effect following the May 28th coup, and Prime Minister José Mendes Cabeçadas became the new president of Portugal. Lastly on this day, the Sesquicentennial Exposition opened in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, celebrating the 150th anniversary of the founding of the United States. The expo featured an 80-foot-tall replica of the Liberty Bell and a replica of Ton Clavern, the birthplace of the United States Marine Corps. The fair would remain open until November 30th, 1926, with a staggeringly low attendance of roughly 6.4 million during the 6 months that the fair was open. Tuesday, June 1st, 1926. Following Marshal Józef Pilsudski's refusal to accept the position of the presidency of Poland, the Sejm elected Ignacy Mościcki as the new president. Also on this day, the passenger transport ship P.S. Washington Irving, owned by the Hudson River Day Line Company, was struck by another boat and began to take on water. The ship was able to be towed to Jersey City, New Jersey, where it finally sank completely. Of the 200 passengers and 105 crew on board, 3 people died. The wreckage sank on top of the in-construction Holland Tunnel that would connect Jersey City to New York City, halting its construction until the wreckage could be cleared. American actor Andy Griffith and American actress Norma Jean Mortensen, better known as Marilyn Monroe, were born in Mount Airy, North Carolina, and Los Angeles, California, respectively. Wednesday, June 2nd, 1926. The Prime Minister of Sweden, Rickard Sandler, and his cabinet resigned after Sweden's parliament, the Riksdag, passed a vote of no confidence in Sandler's ability as Prime Minister. Sandler's government had previously nullified a decision made by the Unemployment Commission to deny pay to striking miners at the Strippa mine in southern Sweden, and the Swedish parliament called for a vote of no confidence. Sandler had been serving as the Prime Minister of Sweden since January 24, 1926. Also on this day, Jonas Staugaitis was elected by Lithuania's lower parliament, the Seimas, to be the Speaker of the Seimas. Thursday, June 3rd, 1926. The 1925 book, The Diary of a Young Lady of Fashion in the year 1764 to 1765 by Cleon Knox, was exposed as a hoax. The book was supposedly a diary about a young woman's life, discovered and published as a memoir of life in the 1760s. However, the real author of the book was revealed as 19-year-old Magdalene King Paul. The belief in the book's authenticity was partially due to the diary's use of obsolete expressions and spellings. Friday, June 4th, 1926. Ignacy Mościcki took office as the President of the Republic of Poland, naming Józef Pilsudski as his Minister of Military Affairs. He would serve as president until Germany's invasion of Poland in 1939. The U.S. Congress passed a resolution calling for President Calvin Coolidge to issue a proclamation for the annual observance of Armistice Day, November 11th, to honor all U.S. veterans of World War I. Although 27 states already observed November 11th as a state holiday, Armistice Day would not become a federal holiday until 1938. In 1954, following World War II and the Korean War, Congress amended the holiday to Veterans Day to honor all U.S. veterans from all wars. Saturday, June 5th, 1926. Chinese General Chiang Kai-shek was named as the Commander-in-Chief of the National Revolutionary Army by the Kuomintang government and would lead the army in July in launching the Northern Expedition against the Beiyang Army to reunite the Republic of China. Also on this day, the Frontier Treaty of 1926, also known as the Treaty of Ankara, was signed by representatives of the United Kingdom, the British Mandate for Iraq, and Turkey. The treaty was a border agreement between Turkey and Iraq, recognizing the 1924 border as the official border and ending the Mosul question in favor of Iraq. The Mosul province would belong to Iraq, and 10% of royalties due to the Iraqi government from Mosul oil revenues would be shared with Turkey for 25 years. In 1930, the British government paid Turkey £500,000 sterling to stop paying the 10% royalty fee. And lastly, the Ewing baseball field in San Francisco, California, caught fire after a spectator threw a lit cigarette under the wooden grandstand. With wind speeds upwards of 40 miles per hour, the fire quickly spread to nearby houses. Thanks to a gap in the bleachers, the left field side of the stadium avoided catching fire. However, the rest of the stadium was destroyed. Over 100 buildings were destroyed, with total damages exceeding $300,000. 14 people were injured, but luckily no one died. And that is all. See you next week for all events from Sunday, June 6th, 1926 to Saturday, June 12th, 1926. Thank you for watching, and see you next week.